Sun here. Strength, pulling out all your reserves. Let's see what else. Water signs pops out. Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. Nurture your relationships like blooming flowers, and they'll flourish. You might feel like you're in a relationship right now that is taking a lot out of you. This is the Wounded Warrior card as well, the Nine of Wands. It's a card that shows that you've been along on this road that's basically wearing you out. You're worn out, but you have that one last fight in you. You know, like you're using all your reserves now at this point. That's why it's the Wounded Warrior. The warrior's been like in the war for a while. They're beat up, they're tired, but they still have to keep going. So you find that inner strength. The Nine of Wands. You might be a Pisces, Cancer, or Scorpio. You might be trying to give your relationship or a relationship one last try, right? To nurture it one more time, one last try. You have to know when enough is enough for yourself, where things don't change, and you also have to accept what is. Sometimes when we're stuck in relationships, you have to just ask yourself, if this person doesn't change at all for the rest of our lives, am I okay with that? You know, like we're always supposed to be growing and learning and getting better individually. But if you're in a relationship and you're stuck in something that isn't constantly getting resolved, it's like the same fight over and over again. Or the same issue over and over again, whatever it is, you give it one last try. That's what I'm getting from this. What's up with this one last try? The Seven of Pentacles. You put a lot of work into this relationship. A lot. And you're not getting any returns. So you're kind of tired of it, but you're going to try one more time. Four of Pentacles, like, because you don't want to leave. You want to hold on to it. You're holding on to a relationship. Okay. So you're holding on to a relationship, hoping that, you know, since a lot of people get stuck in relationships too for too long, because there's a term for it I can't think of right now, but it's basically when you have invested so much of your past, your time with somebody, and you know it's not really working. It's not going to work out. It just isn't fitting. You're not working together. It's not getting resolved. It's getting worse. And you just know it's not the right fit anymore. Some people will just hold on anyway, just because of the amount of time that they put into it anyway, right? They're just like, it would be such a waste of time. But isn't it a waste of time staying in it too? So, you know, some people get caught up on leaving something only because of the amount of time that they put into it, but they don't really care about the person. They know the person isn't good for them. They know everything is not working. They're trying to make it work. It seems like someone's trying to make a relationship work because you want to hold on to it. You have high wishes for this to happen. This is what you wish for, you know. Okay. You know, wishing in the potential of somebody versus the reality, two different things. You know, it's good to know the potential of somebody and be like, wow, this person has a lot of potential. But you also have to be okay with accepting that this person might not change at all. This person might be exactly the same 10 years from now. Do you want that? Are you okay with that? Are you willing to leave? Or are you willing to, like, you know, create something new? You know, two people have to make it work. So if you're in a relationship and you're trying to do all the work or trying to resolve something and the other person isn't putting any effort in any kind of way, there's going to come a time, the Nine of Wands, like you're at your wit's end, physically and mentally, I think. It's like you want to stay, you want to leave. You're trying to work it out. You're trying to work together. Three of Pentacles is just, you have to collaborate. It's like the beauty of many people working together and collaborating in a healthy way. Powerful be against one person, right? It's like, do I sit here by myself with the Hermit and just do all the work myself? You could do work on yourself individually. You could try to do work as a couple, but it's not going to work. You know, you can't force things into existence. You can't force someone to change or want to change. Like, they have to want to change themselves. And that's a really icky road to go down when you have to learn that, because you waste time. You have to learn how to cut your losses, basically, and just move on. But in this read, I'm thinking like you're holding on to an ideal of this person, and you're trying to give it like one more shot. Trying to be too fair. I think you're trying to be too fair. That's why you're going back and forth with the Two of Swords. It's kind of like Two of Swords and Justice. Like, you really don't know what the right answer is for you. Like, on one hand, you want to give yourself justice and try to make something almost, the odds of this working probably isn't going to work, but you're giving it everything you can. Like, that's a good way to actually let go. If you're with someone and it's just not working, like, you give it your all for a certain amount of time, and so you don't have any regrets on like, oh, I wish I said this, I wish I did this, I wish I tried this, whatever, you know, to a certain degree. And you might hurt yourself along that process, but if it makes you feel better knowing that you kind of did all the things you felt like you needed to try, at least you gave yourself the chance to try, right? To hold on to whatever you thought this relationship is. Page of Cups and the Queen of Pentacles popping up together. You give because you can, but it's beyond the Queen of Pentacles because you can. It's because you give because you like to, and you can. No skin off your back, you know? Like, you give away love and attention and security and safety, and someone else is not on the same wavelength. Like, you see these two people, like, they're not, one's a little bit younger than the other, but it's just like this person's like kind of like up in his head and she's very grounded. So you're trying to make a relationship become something different, and if the other person isn't changing or like in the process of trying to change things and work, you know, through like the dark times with you, if you can't really feel that, it's probably a good sign. Maybe like kind of pack up and go here. Nine of Pentacles. You know, don't worry about all the time that you spent, like, you know, with Temperance and the Justice card kind of like giving me, things are going to balance out for you. Might be a Tower moment involved with that, right? But like, this is the High Priestess and the Ace of Wands. You're going to take your chances. A lot of third eye energy. But action, like, eventually you're going to get to a point where you're like, you know what, I gave everything, I'm tired now, you know, so you have no regrets. And sometimes you just have to let people decide for themselves, but detach. The Nine of Cups. That. So when you listen to your intuition and you take action, you can literally achieve the Nine of Cups. So it might just be the cup that you're drinking out of, you know. If you're trying to force a cup of Jello to become a cup of water, it might not ever happen. No matter how bad you want it, no matter how bad you know, try to make it into water, it just won't be the same. So sometimes you just have to accept what it is and give it space. If it, you know, like, sometimes giving things space, if it's meant to come back to you, it will. If not, then you're giving yourself the chance to kind of get new space with Nine of Cups, new actions. So just follow your intuition. After you give it your all, I feel like you're going to give up. But that's up for you to decide. Maybe you do breakthrough with this person, and there's something new that happens. 10:10 on the clock. I saw that. So maybe this person actually wakes up and decides to give it a try with you. Destiny. Secrets and illusions. So you might be looking at this person like it was he or she was your destiny, but it's actually just an illusion to somebody else. And instead of fighting against the illusion to make it real, you might just move on.